Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. Please help yourself to breakfast and honestly sponsored. Dr. Sheldon Gleif, who commemorated the birthday of his brother.
Asher ben Yitzchak Yaakov.
Asher ben Yitzchak Yaakov. Neshama Shavlit. Torah we learned this morning should be for his memory. I did want to say something from last week's parsha, because even though it's last week's parsha, something I think very, very appropriate. And that's the reason why we bury our bodies so quickly is based on a pasuk in last week's parsha. And the only exception would be that if there's for covenant, you can postpone the funeral. The Torah talks about the fact that somebody dies because of his sin, and the Torah says you have to hang him on the tree after he's dead. You can't leave him buried on the tree. You cover it to Brenner, you have to bury him at night. You can't leave him overnight on a tree. So first, what's interesting, when the Bezin orders a capital punishment of strangulation, you're not allowed to do hanging. Hanging, like you see in the Western movies, is forbidden from the Torah in that sense, where you hang somebody from a rope. The reason being is that a person, when he gets executed by the court, it has to be the witnesses that do it. The person himself cannot contribute to his death. If he's hanging, it means he's pulling the weight, he's contributing to his death. That's forbidden from the Torah. The only time you hang up a body, according to the Torah, will be after he's dead. That's forbidden from the Torah.
So how do you kill him?
With strangulation, the strangulation, you put him in manure and you have the witnesses tie a scarf around him and they pull him. That's a strangulation. But there's no hanging that you see in the Western movie. That's forbidden from the Torah. And in fact, the tree that he's hung on and the stone and the handkerchief that he's killed with have to be buried in a separate plot. It has to come from communal funds. He cannot contribute one cannot contribute to one's death. That's the thing. But here's the interesting thing. You're not allowed to hang, the body can't hang overnight. It means you have to bury him. Except you make an exception. The Gemara says, where if it's covered hamesh, where it brings honor to the deceased, then you're allowed to postpone the funeral. So the question is, Rabbi Zalman Sorotzkin asked the question, we know that covered honor is something which is, fleecing. It's covered because one of the three things takes a person out of this world. God knows everything. He has a video camera. So why does he need to know, why is a person allowed for covered amaze to have the funeral postponed? So the answer according to Rabbi Zalman Sorotzkin is based on the Medrash. The Medrash says that when somebody dies, God tells the angels, so-and-so has died, go out and ask if he was righteous or not. How amazing. God knows everything. He has a video camera. Everything that we do is filmed. What does God have to send the angels to see if he's righteous or not? We know whether he's righteous or not. But here's the idea. The idea is, what's our purpose in life? Our purpose in life is to sanctify God's name publicly. So by serving as a positive example in the service of God in human relations. Therefore, the greatest virtue that a person can have in God's name is to have sanctified his name. And conversely, the worst sin is chil Hashem, desecration of God's name. On the day that a person dies, God tells the angel that this man was facing heavenly judgment. He tells the angels that much depends on what people say about him, which shows that they learned from his lifetime. If they say he was righteous and he saw that people learned from him, that even if he sinned in private, without causing public discredit God's name, he deserves to be pardoned. That's why it's good for the angels to see the eulogy, the positive things that people say about him, how he changed people's lives, and that helps them gain eternal life. In fact, the Kaddish that we say doesn't talk about that, talk about God, may God's name be sanctified, glorified, etc. So that's the important thing, and that's why for the sake of the person's neshama, sake of his righteousness, that the funeral can be postponed, covered hamesh, doesn't mean just accolades. It means it shows that people have benefited from the individual. He created a kiddush Hashem. That certainly augurs well to the deceased. Have a wonderful day.